Hey there, folks, and welcome. We'll get right down into brass tacks. Today we're talking about seed germination and taking a very small tour of my own little miniature greenhouse facility that I've built up here in my apartment. So with that, let's get right into it. And we're going to start off with seeds. And how you're going to acquire your seeds, of course, you're either going to buy them from a reputable nursery like these. I got these from Prairie Moon. They came in. They took a weird trip, but that's not Prairie Moon's fault. They germinate really, really well. Most of what I've got germinated in here is from Prairie Moon seed that I bought. Also got some stuff that I've collected, though, which germinates pretty well, like this Schizocarium scoparium right here. Got that collected from landscaping in Ohio, and then I've got a little Astragalus canadensis down in there. You can see the cotyledons. It's the only dicot in the pot. Uh, but yeah, sorry, just didn't mean to show you guys my notes, but I got to put notes on or else I'll lose track and meander like I'm doing right now. But once you get your seeds, of course, you've got to pre-treat them, which in my case, generally it comes down to a cold stratification period and sanding to make it easier for the cotyledons to unfurl from the harder seed coat. You'll need to do there's again from Prairie Moon, there's a wide variety of different things you might need to do to seeds in order to prepare them for germination, in order to break like dormancy mechanisms and things of that nature. Like I said, I usually just do cold stratification and sanding because that's all I need to do. But yeah, so we'll move on from acquisition and pre-treatment, moving down into actually sowing seeds. And you can see I've got some Elymus hystrix there, kind of surface sown. If you look a little closer, now you can't see the Dicanthelium oligozanthes in there. Look in here, we got some lupin. You got under right next to the shadow on my finger there, that little white thing. That's actually a radical, I believe, because I pulled those out of the fridge from Cold Strat yesterday, and a lot of them had little radicals showing, which was awesome because I've never really been too successful with lupin germination. But anyway, so you're gonna want to sow your seeds pretty shallow. The guideline that I follow is, of course, the guideline set by Prairie Moon. No deeper than the width of the seed usually, because you want them to not have too hard a time breaking up to the surface. Obviously, don't want to bury them too deep. Some plants like these ones right here. This is a mix of Monarda punctata and Pycnanthemum virginianum. Those and these over here, those require direct light to germinate, so you're going to want to surface sow them on like pre-moistened soil, basically, is how I got those to pop. And then you, of course, put a bright light on them, and boom, they germinate. But so now moving on to actual germination after we've sown our seeds, pre-treated them, done what we need to do, got them in the dirt. They're germinating, they're growing. So that's the exciting part, but we'll talk some tips first. You're going to want to limit organic debris and try to keep the humidity high. That's what I got the domes for, to seal in the heat and the moisture. High humidity seems to function the best for germination, at least in my experience. Like, I actually had these guys sealed up with saran wrap for a bit before I decided that was redundant given the dome. These little red ones, or pink ones, pink and brown, I guess, those are Opuntia cespitosa seedlings. So our northern or eastern prickly pear species that we get in the Chicago region. So that's pretty cool to get germinating. Really cool to see a cactus with leaves as well. It's got the cotyledons still, so you can tell it's a dicot, which is pretty cool. Cool reminder of that evolutionary heritage. So, yeah, but the problem with like keeping the humidity high is you might get mold formation. So you're gonna have to look out for that, of course, and try to limit the amount of organic debris that you're putting in your pots and stuff. So we'll talk about the cotyledons a little bit now. They are, of course, derived from the plant's embryo within the seed. Plant embryo is the source of like all your basic developing plant parts, like your epicotyl, your hypocotyl, and your radicle. All that stuff comes out of the embryo. The embryo is fed and nourished, supplied by the endosperm. The way my old botany professor put that to me is like, it's like sending a kid to school with a lunchbox, basically. The endosperm's the lunchbox, and the kid's the embryo. Yeah. Cotyledon functionality kind of differs between monocots, dicots, and also there's some eudicots that are intermediate between the two. Functionality differs a little bit. Major principle, though, is that it's like it's like a supply, like a booster rocket, you know? You kind of, to get it up to the point where you can actually have real leaf formation and, you know, have more photosynthetic area and all that good stuff. But yeah, so there's that. Additionally, a lot of these young leaves, they are like stored they're derived from the epicotyl, same as the cotyledons. So you can look at this little astragalus for an example. You see it's got the big cotyledons at the base. Those are all full of like proteins and all the good stuff. And then higher up, you've got that first true leaf of the astragalus down in the center frame, and that is also derived from the epicotyl, as are the cotyledons. So that is that. So that's the raw information taken care of. That's the boring background stuff. Now the fun stuff is actually talking about the plants that we've got germinating in here. Got all kinds of good stuff. We've got Crotalaria sagittalis. We got dill, Anethum graveolens. Mentioned the opuntias. In here, I've got Hystrix patula and Dicanthelium elegizanthes. A mix of the Monarda and the Pycnanthemum. Some more Crotalarias in there. That's pen sedge from my house in Indiana. More Crotalaria and mint stuff. Schizacharium and astragalus. Bunch more Crotalaria. Bunch more cacti. And a Crotalaria in there. The Crotalarias, I try to plant a lot of beans because they fix nitrogen, which obviously is an important nutrient for plants to get. But that's the tour of the little facility, and this is also, just a note here at the end, you can do this at home. It's really easy. I'm not a good gardener. I'm a decent botanist, but I'm not a good gardener. You can make fun of me for that if you want. But it's really easy to do, it's really rewarding, and it's a great way to bring the natives home, as it were. So yeah, hope you enjoyed.